Good morning, good morning. It's 6:45 a.m. I haven't slept, and we're about to watch AMD's Computex 2022 keynote. This is the watch party. Good morning to you all. This is AMD's CEO, Dr. Lisa Su, going to get up on stage, and she's going to say some things about some AMD stuff. And the way it's going to work is currently you see on the screen up here, we've got the keynote. I'll make that full screen when it starts, and then some chat, and we're going to have some chat just so everybody knows what everybody's saying. And I'm wearing these glasses because I have a super bright light here, because if I don't have the light on, I look way too dark. As I found out trying to film a video not 1 hour ago, and I did not have enough light. Turns out if you're not in a proper studio, you can't really record in the dark. So it's Jacob. The keynote is 2 p.m. Taiwan time, so that means it's 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, 7 a.m. UK, 8 a.m. Central European. And we should be starting in about 10 minutes. 10-12 minutes. So this is what the screen's going to look like when we get going. And hopefully all the noise comes through. Let's try some beeps. Everything's flickering on my end. I hope you all heard that. And but yeah. Ready to talk all the AMD stuff. And yeah, 4 p.m. in Australia. It's perfect Australia time, perfect Asia time. It's Computex. If you attend Computex's press and your whole job is getting out news the minute it happens, unfortunately nobody reads it because it's all the worst time of the day for them, except for Australia or Japan. So it's good in for if your audience is that side. I'm not expecting many people to show up, though I see almost 100 people already watching. You're either watching my stream, or you're watching the actual stream, or you're watching PC World stream. Whatever, you'll get the information either way. But yeah, the presentation is expected to go for about 45-50 minutes. That's usually how these keynotes work, whether that's Computex or CES, when they're official keynotes at least. If they're unofficial keynotes, they can do whatever they want, and we've seen in the past that Jensen can go to 3 hours plus. I remember somebody did a correlation of Nvidia's share price with Jensen's keynote length, and it was almost a very linear correlation, so that was funny. And we have people here from, Australia, Japan, Hawaii, Taiwan. Good to see you all. I hope you're looking forward to this. It's a real shame that wasn't able to be there in Taiwan for Computex. It is a hybrid event this year. People who can go, but it's a 7-day quarantine, because Taiwan's vaccination rate is actually quite low. They never had a major outbreak, it seems, so there was no impetus for people to get the vaccine. And it is an aging population who, I don't know, they just tend to not want the vaccine, so there's still a large portion of the population unvaccinated, so there's still restrictions on travel. It's been 14-day quarantine for quite a while. They just reduced it down to 7-day recently, a few days ago. But even then, if I'd have known it'd been 7 days 2 months ago, then I may have booked a flight. Though this keynote, I think, is actually pre-recorded. Nvidia is probably pre-recorded. We'll see. I'm not sure exactly what we'll see from the show floor this year, but we'll definitely see these keynotes. And welcome New Zealand. It's people predicting what they're going to see during the keynote. I've technically been briefed a little bit, so I'm going to shut up and wait until it gets announced before I say anything, just so I don't break embargo. But you'll probably see all the press's announcements go live around about the end of the presentation anyway, so it's I should have a video on this going out later. Some of it is recorded already. I'll see what else I have to record after the keynote, and yeah. It's Adam Patrick Money from PC World is here. Says we are streaming you. Does that mean I have to stream you back, and we get to this? We get to a inception of.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it.
Let's see if I can bring you guys up here. In the few minutes we have left. Where was it? I did the wrong thing. That's quite usual. Let's see if I can bring you guys. Okay, now I see myself. Let's see. Embed. No, that doesn't work. Okay. Embedding a YouTube stream into an OBS is nice and terrible. Interact.
There
we go. Okay,
Ian, we're afraid if we let people know that Ian's doing a stream.
Yeah, it looks like Ian's here with us, right?
And then people are gonna go like,
yeah. So, Ian, what do you think about the news
loop
here?
And loop,
huh,
and loop and loop.
No, he's not responding to me.
no, he can't. He probably can't hear us yet, because I mean, there's too many different.
Okay, that's amusing. How close are we to starting now? 6 minutes. Maybe I'll stick on this screen for now. Thanks, guys. PC World, always amusing. Now I've lost all my. Here we go. Yeah. Hi, Adam. Hi, Gordon. Good luck with the stream. And I'll have to watch this back to see how much of an infernal loop we went into. New chips. I don't know. It's AMD. There'll be something to do with AMD stuff. Like I said, I don't want to break embargo, so I'm not gonna say anything. But welcome everybody joining. If you're joining from PC World, welcome. If you're going back to watch PC World, goodbye. We'll see you back. Just as long as you're enjoying the internet. So we are 5 minutes away. Knowing my luck, it will be a case of when it says 5 minutes and when it goes down to 0, it'll say another 2 minutes. That's usually how these things go. So, Planet 886, thank you for the 300 Taiwanese dollars. That's about a tenner. 6 quid, tenner. I'm not sure what the exchange rate is these days, but thank you very much. And people are asking about TechTechPotato merch. It's on my list of things to do. As some of you know, I've become an analyst recently, so that's taking a bit of my time up, taking a good chunk of my time up, especially responding to emails. That's always fun. So we'll I try and mix it 80% day job, 20% analyst. You may have seen this morning that an interview with MediaTek went up. That was a sponsored interview speaking about their Wi-Fi 7. Even though it's sponsored, they let me choose. I chose questions. They let me choose questions. I insisted on choosing the questions, and we got a really good chat out of them, as we would any normal interview. They just wanted to focus on the Wi-Fi 7 stuff, and I'll be honest, I hadn't looked into it until I spoke to them, but it was a very good chat. It was a very good chat. And is Lisa Su, I almost called her Lisa CEO, is Lisa Su both CEO and a chair? Yes. She is the chair of the board. So... Greg says, I accidentally inceptioned myself with Jump Desktop once. Had to pull the plug to get out. Yeah, I've done any desk to any desk to any desk. Crazy Loca, thanks for the 25. Here, buy some more kombucha. I'm almost out. I didn't bring anything else for the stream. Yeah, so I'm going to have... no. We could... Intel Vision was last week, and they gave me this. So... this is purified water with electrolytes. Electrolytes added for taste. This is, you know, it's like Braundo. It's added electrolytes. Maybe I'll drink that when my thing's gone. So. It's meant to be a refillable bottle of water. Idiocracy, that's the film I couldn't think of. It's amazing when you're on camera what you can't remember. And yeah, that's the kombucha done. Now onto the water. Mehmet, thank you for the 329... Is that Turkish lira? Welcome, good morning, good afternoon. That tastes very bland. And I'll try not to spill it all over my keyboard. 60 seconds. And then it will say waiting to go live. And it will start a 2-minute countdown. That's usually how it goes. And Tommy from Russia. JS2K, they took the dissolved minerals out so they can put the dissolved minerals in. Excuse me. Yeah, the minerals come out because they usually filter it through reverse osmosis. So that means only the water goes through the membrane and not the minerals, and so they have to put the minerals back in afterwards. So... It's, I'll probably not pause the stream while it's going and just speak over the top. Give my thoughts, but be good to enjoy watching. And PC Jack from South Wales, what are you doing up this time of morning? Usually the only reason I'm up this time of morning is because I'm bombarding Craft Computing's Thursday morning, Wednesday night live stream. Hey Jeff, good to see you. Have a good evening. Yeah, this is probably it's probably midnight your time, isn't it? Central? Are you Central or Mountain? So you're in Missouri, aren't you? Rayan asks, why is it on GMT +8 time? Because it's Computex, Taiwan. Taiwan is +8. Ah, here we go. Oh, that's loud. Sorry about that. I should also turn down my audio because that's banging in my ears. Sorry about that. Rakon says I'm awake because my cat demands food. Yeah, I'm sure mine will make an appearance unless they're freaked out by me speaking. Warren's in Toronto, another 2 o'clock. Yes, sorry about the audio. Sorry. And the delay on the stream is about 16 seconds. So 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, and can I improve the quality here? Yes, 1080p. And let's make sure we're on the latest.
Over the world. Welcome to Computex 2022. After 2 years of pandemic, our lives have changed dramatically in every aspect for work, study, entertainment, and especially for technologies. Computex 2022, hosted by Tetra, will continue hybrid this year. Our hybrid activities will include an online
hybrid.
digital goals,
Here we go.
Computex CEO keynotes, Computex forum, and Innovex forum, and online.
Oh, don't tell me that was the Ben Shapiro intro. Oh dear God, he is vile. Hopefully, me and this thing being in the corner doesn't. But yeah.
Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Lisa.
Yeah, I've put audio a bit low just on purpose, just until she starts, because this is general TechTechPotato stuff. He was talking fast because I put it on 2x because I changed 1080p and it went backwards a little bit. So yeah. No, you don't need this bit audio loud. I'll turn it up.
Delivered industry-leading
I'll shut up a little bit.
This is the third occasion that Dr. Lisa Su delivers a keynote at Computex. She will share AMD vision to advance the PC experience through next-generation mobile and desktop PC innovations, combining cutting-edge CPUs, GPUs, and software. AMD and its ecosystem partners.
This is an advertisement for AMD right now.
Performance and leadership experiences for gamers, enthusiasts, and creators. We can't wait for the exciting news that Lisa is about to bring. So please, let's welcome Dr. Lisa Su.
And here we go. This is in AMD's studio. I need to find out where they filmed this, because they've really knocked out the park with these pandemic presentations in that stage. Well done, AMD
Welcome,
team.
and thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Lisa.
I also want to thank Tetra for the invitation to keynote Computex 2022, and Chairman Wang for the very kind introduction. Every year I look forward to Computex as the opportunity for our industry to gather in Taiwan and highlight the deep partnerships throughout the ecosystem and our work together to shape the future.
I wish I was
From
in
system
Taiwan.
design and manufacturing to motherboards, graphics cards, and other critical components like memory and storage, our partners in Taiwan play a critical role helping AMD push the envelope in high-performance computing. This is the most exciting time for the semiconductor industry. Whether you're talking about cloud, supercomputing, 5G, AI, or intelligent end devices, high-performance and adaptive computing solutions are playing a larger and larger role in every aspect of our daily lives.
AMD's
And we see
realised they
this
have to
trend only
diversify their
accelerating
revenue
in the coming
streams.
years.
That's what this is.
We recently closed our acquisition of Xilinx,
CPU,
the largest
GPU,
semiconductor transaction in history.
AI engine.
And AMD now has the broadest
And that's
portfolio of
adaptive at the
leadership
end,
compute
obviously.
engines in the industry, building on our high-performance CPUs and GPUs with the industry-leading
FPGAs and
FPGAs and adaptive SoCs. Now, AMD is all about pushing the envelope on technology.
Workstations.
Wherever our
Threadripper
partners
Pro.
have a need for more
Threadripper Pro.
computing
Threadripper
capability,
Pro. Come
you
on,
will
some more
find
Threadripper
AMD.
Pro.
And you can see our products and technologies everywhere, from PCs to game consoles, smartphones,
To
the
Threadripper
cloud,
Pro.
and now
To
industrial
Threadripper.
and telecom as well. Today, though, is all about our next generation of PC products for gamers, creators, and enthusiasts.
Threadripper?
Now, as we've seen over the last several years, the PC has never been a more essential part of how we live, work, and play.
This is important.
With 349 million PCs shipped in 2021,
that number's going to go down this year.
More than 900 million shipped in the last 3 years.
Probably down to 330, 320 million. That's
At
what
AMD,
the analysts are predicting.
We're all about building the best. Today, we're going to focus on the best
numbers
in
might
PCs,
go down this year,
including new leadership ultra-thin commercial and gaming notebooks, and new details on our next-generation Ryzen desktop processors and platforms. Let's start with the latest in ultra-thin notebooks powered by our Ryzen 6000 processors. Here's Jason Banta, General Manager of our OEM PC business.
Jason's a good guy.
Thank you, Lisa. At CES earlier this year, we brought you the incredible Ryzen 6000 Mobile, powered by the Zen 3 Plus CPU core, RDNA 2 graphics, and 6nm
There should be
TSMC
a space
technology.
between the 5 and the G.
Ryzen 6000 also brought an entirely new notebook platform, delivering DDR5, PCIe Gen 4, and USB 4 in the most premium notebooks.
I went to Micro Center
We
the other day,
promised
couldn't find any
leadership,
though.
performance per watt, battery life, and graphics performance in Windows 11. The initial reviews were a resounding reflection that we delivered on our promises. The Asus G14 was consistently awarded for its combination of gaming performance, innovative form factor,
The G14 is what they
life.
sampled
And 72
on launch.
Ryzen 6000
so there's a lot of reviews of that
have
unit.
either launched
That's what they
or
sampled.
been announced to date. But our Ryzen 6000 portfolio is only just beginning. Ryzen 6000 will establish leadership in additional segments, including ultra-thin consumer and commercial enterprise notebooks.
Commercials where they're going to make big money.
With Ryzen 6000 ultra-thin,
that's their big
is
push
to
out.
partner on notebooks
Commercial,
that are ready
commercial
to
and
work,
enterprise.
create, collaborate, and even game on the go. Just like our gaming notebooks, we want our ultra-thins to offer the perfect balance between performance and mobility. With the incredible efficiency delivered by Zen 3 Plus, our U-series processors enable some of the thinnest, lightest,
This is
highest
generic
performing ultra-mobile PCs in the
performance
market.
numbers, for
Outperforming our
OEM
competition's
partners
P
and
series.
customers. This isn't really for.
By combining our
yeah.
RDNA 2 graphics
I don't like
core,
just putting numbers up like that.
DDR5 memory, and Fidelity FX, we can enable new experiences on the thinnest systems in the market today. The recently launched ZenBook 13S OLED is only 14.9 millimeters thick and weighs only 2.2 pounds.
He said 40.9 millimeters
This
thick
slim,
rather than
sleek
millimeters
system
thin.
Can
You
easily
can tell
run
it's
Godfall
PR when they say
1080p
millimeters thin.
at over
That's
60
not a thing.
frames per second.
Good for Jason.
The recently launched Yoga Slim 7 Pro X delivers discrete level gaming performance
I want to try
in
that.
a chassis less than 16 millimeters thick.
That's
We partnered
Yeah.
with PC OEMs on
Ryzen
some of the
7
most
Pro
exciting
X.
premium ultra-thin notebooks
It's gonna be good.
launching this year.
hopefully.
Now, in the commercial segment, Ryzen 6000 delivers the ultimate productivity and collaboration experience to the new, increasingly hybrid workforce. The way we work and communicate has fundamentally changed in the past few years.
For those that don't know,
The amount
commercial
of time
system
spent on
is
video
what businesses
collaboration
buy.
has more than doubled
So you need
in
pro
the past
features
year.
like management.
Over 70% of workers want flexibility between office and remote. Yet the average system today is over 4 years old, leaving workers
Yeah.
ill-equipped
I had a
for this transition to hybrid.
7200U system when I was with
Our
an
innovative
Antec. That was
partner
my official
platforms based on
notebook.
Ryzen 6000 deliver on the
Ooh,
full
ThinkPad
set
Z.
of hybrid workforce needs.
That's going to be...
Exclusive platforms like the all-new ThinkPad Z series and
that-
the
is that
award-winning EliteBook
the
line
VZS?
seamlessly blend collaboration,
NEC?
productivity, and mobility.
Ooh.
Over 60 commercial notebooks will launch this year based on Ryzen, an increase of over
Based on
25%
Ryzen, that's 6000
year-on-year.
and 5000. Some of this stuff
Ryzen
takes
Pro
longer
has
to
become
validate.
synonymous
So it
with
will be.
performance on productivity applications. The latest Ryzen Pro commercial notebooks outperform competitive processors by up to 17% on combined Microsoft Office and Teams productivity. The efficiency optimizations enable continuous collaboration from the office, the coffee shop, or the couch. Ryzen 6000 delivers a 45% battery life advantage on Microsoft Teams when compared to notebooks
Compared to
powered by a
1260p.
comparable competitive mobile processor. Ryzen 6000 Pro has also taken the commercial battery life crown based on third-party analysis. The HP EliteBook 865 G9 ranks as the number
The
one
thing is with
laptop in the
Teams,
world
I'm waiting for
on the
AI
Mobile Mark
upscaling
2018
on
benchmark
Teams.
with 26.1 hours of
Thing is, that
mixed
takes
usage battery
power,
life.
which is battery life.
While Ryzen is known for premium notebooks, we want to ensure that the modern mainstream market experiences Ryzen innovations as well. During the past few years, millions of people have found their way back to the PC. It has become an everyday device for
What does
everyone.
coming back to the PC
But
mean?
most mainstream
really?
notebooks are not ready to deliver a full-featured, responsive Windows 11 or Chromebook experience. Today, we are announcing a new APU codenamed Mendocino that will launch in the second half of this year.
I've recorded my video saying Mendocino.
Is ideal for do-it-all Windows 11 notebooks and Chromebooks between $399 and $599 US.
So this is their mid to low end
Built on the
chip.
same low-power, high-performance 6nm technology
6nm
as our award-winning
quad-core
Ryzen 6000 mobile
RDNA
product
2.
family.
I think
Mendocino
it's
offers
3
up
or
to a
6 compute
quad-core,
units.
8-thread Zen 2 CPU, true RDNA 2 graphics, LPDDR5 memory, and cutting-edge video codecs to enable
LPDDR5.
seamless collaboration.
Is that
across
LPDDR5
Zoom,
only?
Teams,
Or does
and
that
Google
also
Meet.
include DDR5 and DDR4?
The number of systems announced using Ryzen continues to grow rapidly.
Yeah,
Over
so
72
Mendocino
Ryzen
coming out
6000
Q4,
notebooks
it's the
have
low
been
end
announced by
part.
OEMs thus far in 2022, and the options will continue to grow throughout the year. The full Ryzen mobile portfolio includes 50 gaming systems, 90 ultra-thin systems, and 60 commercial systems shipping during this year.
I think Mendocino is
This
the
portfolio
replacement for
brings
Dali and
more
Pollock.
options
I
to
think
enjoy the superior
it's Zen
performance,
2, not Zen 3
exceptional
though.
mobility, and captivating experiences delivered by Ryzen. Now let me hand it off to Frank Azor to talk to you about the latest on AMD Advantage.
Okay, Frank to the stage now. Gonna talk laptops.
Thanks, Jason.
Frank's a fun
Imagine
guy
a gaming
too.
computer where every core component is designed to work seamlessly with one another, where every performance and efficiency metric is optimized in the CPU and GPU since their inception for the purpose of delivering to you the absolute best computing experience technologically possible. That is our vision for the future of gaming at AMD. About a year ago at Computex, we announced the AMD Advantage
Yes,
framework.
he's the $10 guy.
These solutions feature AMD high-performance components, including our family of exclusive smart technologies.
They build up to the
AMD Advantage
announcements.
laptops are
The
developed
biggest
to follow
announcements will be at
stringent
the
design
end.
guidelines
So
and processes.
this is
They
AMD
deliver systems with
Advantage. This is
state-of-the-art
where you pair
performance,
Ryzen and
beautiful high
Radeon
refresh rate
in a-
displays, fast load times, great battery life, and so much more.
So after this, if
Our
there's
mission
any
with AMD
CPU,
Advantage
GPU
systems
stuff,
is
it'll
to
be
raise
after
the bar
this.
of what defines the industry's best gaming laptops. And it starts with our smart technologies, where AMD CPUs and GPUs work cohesively together to help eliminate system bottlenecks with technologies like smart access memory, while at the same time delivering power where and when it's
Don't
needed
think
most
I've
with
tested
SmartShift
a
Max.
smart
AMD Smart
one of these
Access
AMD
graphics
Advantage
intelligently
laptops yet.
optimizes your system for maximum performance and efficiency. And for delivering outstanding gaming on battery sessions, we've created SmartShift Eco. Today, I'm excited to announce our next smart technology. Smart Access Storage gets you out of the load screen and into your gameplay faster than ever. Traditional game loading takes a significant amount of compute power to decompress the game's data, requiring the CPU to do the decompression and data transfer, which introduces latency
You're
and
also
takes up
relying on the
considerable system
GTA
resources.
developers not to load
To help
a
bypass these
long linked
bottlenecks,
list in single
AMD's created
thread.
Smart Access Storage, a suite of technologies supporting Microsoft Direct Storage that utilizes
Bye,
Smart
Jeff.
Access memory along
Get
with
some
new
good sleep.
AMD platform
He'll
technologies
still be here in the morning.
and Radeon GPU asset decompression to improve both game load times and texture streaming. We're so excited about this new technology. Stay tuned for more news on Smart Access Storage in the coming months. Now, let's talk about some of the awesome AMD Advantage gaming laptops we have
I wonder
coming
why
to
it's
market.
taken so
Built
long
with the latest
for
Ryzen
Smart Access
6000 series
Storage to actually
processors,
work on
the latest
PC.
Radeon 6000M and S series graphics, and AMD's smart technologies. As Jason mentioned earlier, the first AMD Advantage solution we launched this year was a 14-inch ROG Zephyrus G14. At only 18.5 millimeters thin,
Yeah,
it's quickly become one of the
G14,
industry's
like I said,
favorite gaming
this
laptops.
is
The
what they
system's already
sampled.
available at most retailers and
launch.
e-tailers worldwide for you to experience yourself, so go check it out. For gamers looking for a desktop-like experience in a gaming laptop, the Alienware M17 R5 offers supreme performance on a beautiful
360
17-inch
hertz on a
low
laptop
blue light
is
emitting
insane.
display with up
I've
to
got a
500 nits
Razer
of
one
brightness featuring Dolby Vision.
Not sure
and
if I can
refresh
detect
rates
a
up to
difference,
4K at
but
120
I don't think
hertz.
I game at the point where it matters.
Lenovo recently announced the Legion Slim 7.
I mean,
this is the
Peggle at
thinnest
360
AMD Advantage
hertz
laptop
is
yet, offering
yeah,
100 frames
not
per
competitive
second gaming
advantage.
performance in a 16-inch laptop that's just 17 millimeters thin.
Oh, he's
The
saying
system
millimeters
features
thin
powerful
now.
and efficient AMD
sorry,
processors
Frank.
and graphics, and a massive battery capacity up to 100 watt-hours. So much performance and battery in such a thin and light form factor makes the system an incredible engineering achievement. For performance-demanding gamers, the new Lenovo Legion 7 AMD Advantage Edition gaming laptop features new WASD keys equipped with precise force sensor technology.
What?
This technology allows players to scale their input through different levels of pressure applied to their keyboard.
What?
Imagine being able to control the
Your
speed
key
your
travel
character
is
moves
so
in-game
small.
based on how hard or soft you press on the WASD keys of your keyboard.
You remember with a controller, you'd
Force sensor
do it
technology
turn?
literally adds
Now you
new
could do that with a
dimensions to how
keyboard.
you game. Meta MacBook and Origin are two of our first AMD Advantage system integrator designs. These systems will be available starting this summer on OriginPC.com and JD.com, and they'll come with the latest AMD Ryzen 6000 series processors and Radeon graphics, and will each be enabled with the family of AMD
ODM
smart
designs are
technologies.
interesting. It means
For gamers who want to
hopefully
play
we get
unplugged,
more. Assuming
the
they
new
can
Omen
sample
16
them.
by HP is the first system to launch with AMD SmartShift Eco enabled, giving you up to 60% longer gaming time on battery in a game like League of
I think
Legends
I saw
at
news that
1080p.
there's going to be a 480
This
hertz
system also
display
features
TN
Omen Tempest cooling
monitor
technology,
at the market.
which keeps your system
so.
cool and quiet, along with an iSafe low blue light certified display. And finally, I'm excited to announce that this summer, Corsair will be launching their first ever gaming and streaming laptop exclusively with AMD Advantage.
Streaming
The
laptop.
Corsair Voyager features the latest Ryzen processors and Radeon graphics. It's enabled with the entire family of smart technologies, and it features a 16-inch FreeSync Premium 240 Hz WQHD Plus display. Voyager is the first laptop ever designed to be a truly mobile streaming solution. It features an integrated 10-key streaming command center, powered by Elgato's popular Stream Deck software, and a
Hey, macro
1080p
keys are
high-fidelity
usually good.
webcam
I'm not
powered
sure
by the
if I'm
Elgato
a fan of
integrated
them being
camera hub
over the
software,
keyboard.
allowing you to do things like
Based like the
dial
old
in your field of
G15
view
when they're
or
on the
change
left.
video inputs,
Left to the
putting
escape key.
studio-level controls at your fingertips. Equipped with Corsair's DDR5 memory and smart technologies like SmartShift Max, users can
DDR5,
automatically
not
unlock the
LPDDR5.
full potential of this laptop, whether gaming or streaming. We're very excited to have Corsair Voyager join the award-winning AMD Advantage portfolio of laptops. Voyager is available this summer from Corsair and retail partners worldwide, including customizable versions from Origin PC. Thank you for your time today. Let me hand it back over to Lisa.
So, new desktop stuff
Thank
now.
you, Frank and Jason. We're very excited about bringing together the power of Ryzen, Radeon, and AMD software to build the best in ultra-thin commercial and gaming notebooks. Now, you all know that at AMD, we're always working on what's next. So let's close with a preview of what comes next for desktop PCs.
We've still got 20 minutes.
Today, tens of millions of
AM4.
gamers, creators, and PC enthusiasts use AMD Ryzen processors in the AM4 platform. AM4 motherboards were first introduced in 2016. Almost 6 years later, we've now shipped nearly 70 million AM4 CPUs, spanning more than 125 unique processors, 5 different architectures, and 4
125 plus
process technology
processors
nodes.
is correct if you count all the
Ecosystem
Ryzen
support
Pros.
for AM4 has
I
been
have a
amazing,
list.
with our partners introducing
have a
more than
list.
500 unique AM4 motherboards.
I'm still missing a fair few of
And
them though for my
AM4
collection.
is still going strong. Just last month, we launched the Ryzen 7 5800X3D, the world's first desktop CPU.
So I've
with
tested
3D
the
stacked
X3D. I
triplets.
haven't done a video on it
It
yet.
plugs into existing AM4 motherboards and delivers an average 15% boost in gaming performance over the 5800X. This type of performance improvement has typically only been possible with the introduction of a new CPU architecture. And as the reviews have highlighted, if
There
you
will
want
be
the
a
best
Q&A
PC gaming
after
processor
this.
today, it's the 5800X3D in the AM4 platform. And when you look at the numbers, compared to the best gaming processor from the competition, the 5800X3D wins across a broad range of games. It is the world's fastest gaming CPU, and importantly, it delivers that leadership performance while using
Those
significantly
numbers
less
are against
power.
the KS.
Now,
we
while
were told.
AM4
so.
is a great platform that will continue for many years to come,
And the
Building
Zen
the
4
best PCs is always about pushing the envelope.
2022.
And for AMD, we do this by combining our multi-generational CPU core roadmap with advanced manufacturing process nodes and leadership packaging technologies. Today, I'm really excited to share more about the next major
Fixed
step
function.
in our
You should
roadmap
message
that
me. We
extends
should
our
compare
leadership in
lists.
desktop PCs. Our next generation Ryzen 7000 desktop CPUs
there it is.
combine our new Zen 4 core in 5nm
Zen
process
4,
technology
5nm,
with the all-new socket AM5 platform
AM5.
to bring more performance, more features, and more capability to desktop PCs. And it all starts with our Zen 4 core. We designed Zen 4 to deliver significant performance and performance per watt advances over our already industry-leading Zen 3 core.
1 meg L2 cache.
We doubled the L2 cache to 1 megabyte per core for
5
higher
gigahertz,
throughput.
and AI instructions.
We've also increased the clock speeds on Zen 4 to run significantly above 5 gigahertz.
Increased
And
the
with
clock
higher
speed
IPC and faster
significantly
clock
above
speed,
5
we expect
gigahertz,
Zen 4
at least on the
CPUs to
Ryzen
deliver
9.
more than 15% higher single-threaded performance compared to the prior generation. We've also added instructions for hardware-accelerated
Hey,
AI
TechMax
workloads
Power,
like
can we
neural networks
keep it
and
to
machine
the
learning.
tech, please?
Now, for the first time, let me show you our Ryzen 7000. As you can see, Ryzen 7000 CPUs include up to 2 core chiplets, each with 8 Zen 4 cores.
So the chip design
built
is
on
still
an optimized version of TSMC's high-performance 5nm process technology.
similar to current Ryzen.
The larger chiplet is an all-new 6nm I/O die designed for Ryzen 7000.
With RDNA 2 graphics.
We added RDNA 2 graphics, bringing integrated graphics capabilities into our Ryzen enthusiast desktop CPUs for the first time. And we've also made significant advances in power management and added support for the latest memory and I/O technologies like DDR5 and PCI Express 5.
I confirmed with AMD, it's DDR5 only.
Here's the general manager
There's
of our
no
desktop
DDR4
business,
support.
David McAfee.
It's going to be DDR5 only. They feel it's the right time with the market, so.
Thanks, Lisa. Beyond the processor itself, one of the most exciting aspects of this new product family is the transition to the AM5 platform ecosystem. As Lisa mentioned, AM4 was an incredible platform
15%
with
because
longevity
cache
and capability
and frequency.
beyond what we
This
even
is
imagined
only
it would be when it was first introduced.
This isn't a new architecture, it's an
As we
update to
approached
Zen
the
3.
design of AM5, our philosophy followed many of the same principles.
Industry average is
create a
7%,
platform
so
designed for
15% is
flexibility
better than
and
average.
built for the future. One that maximized the capability and performance of our processors, and one that incorporated modern I/O and interfaces that will define the next generation of enthusiast desktop PCs. To that end, our new AM5 platform will lead the industry in capability
We don't know how many
for the most demanding
compute
enthusiast
units
PC builds.
is on the I/O die.
That
I
starts
expect
with an
it's
all-new
3 or
socket and a
5.
transition
So
from
new
micro
socket.
PGA
We know
to
about
an LGA socket
we know about
to
the
drive
LGA
more
socket,
power and
DDR5
greater signal
PCI 5.
integrity for all of those high-speed I/Os.
Compatible with AM4
Pair
socket.
that with an expansion to new processor infrastructure groups, all the way up to 170 watts TDP, to take advantage of the performance per watt
that's wrong.
efficiency
Oh,
of
oh
leading-edge
my God.
process technology nodes, unlocking even more.
I specifically
all-core
asked
performance.
AMD in the briefing whether that
It
172 watts
incorporates
is
next-generation I/O
TDP or
capabilities,
PPT, power
including
package
dual-channel
tracking, and I was told
DDR5
it was
memory
power
and the
package
capability
tracking.
to drive
It's not
the most
TDP. It's
PCI Gen 5 lanes from the processor socket in the industry.
Oh, this is fun. I'm going to have
And
to
last but not least, over the
poke
past
Robert
several
about
years, we've developed a robust
I
cooler
was told
ecosystem
it's,
for AM4
that's not
platforms,
TDP. That's
supporting a wide
package
range
power.
of passive, air, and liquid coolers in all shapes and sizes and price range. And I'm happy to say that as we make this transition, our new AM5 socket will be compatible with existing AM4 coolers. When you look at AM5's I/O capabilities, we've made many enhancements.
Yeah, Zen 4 is
like
an update
enabling
to Zen
24
3.
PCI lanes capable of Gen 5 speed
24
connected
PCI
directly
5
to
lanes?
the socket to power the fastest
video
storage
cards
and
say
graphics
28?
solutions in the industry.
Didn't WCCF say 28?
Super speed USB ports, including support for 20 gigabit per second speed and USB Type-C connectors. We know that connectivity is critical to the enthusiast motherboard user, and AM5 includes support for Wi-Fi 6E,
I'll go into the difference after
for
the
blazing
stream.
fast wireless connectivity,
'cause this
as
is
well
coming
as
thick
4
and fast.
independent display outputs
Questions
connected
after
to the
the stream.
integrated RDNA2 graphics engine. In addition to all of that I/O directly connected to the socket, The new 600 series chipsets bring a host of expansion options to the platform to meet the needs of even the most demanding users. Now, beyond the core platform I/O, the Socket AM5 ecosystem also features
there you go, four display
all-new
outputs,
SVI3 power
2
infrastructure.
HDMI 2.1 and 2 DisplayPort 2.
This brings multiple advantages to the platform, such as support for additional power phases, for that higher power delivery into the motherboard, fine-grained power control, and significantly faster voltage response capabilities. Our AM5 motherboard family will feature 3 levels of boards with different features targeting different segments of the desktop market. At the very top of the stack, we have our X670 Extreme motherboards. These boards deliver the best of the
native
best
Thunderbolt
across
4
all
Equinox.
aspects of what the most demanding enthusiasts crave. PCI 5, dual-channel DDR5 memory with the most extreme overclocking headroom and the most power phases to push the limits of performance and overclocking. Next, the X670 AM5
double channel
platform delivers
DDR5,
the
technically
goods for
quad
the bulk
channel,
of
but the
Ryzen
channels are
enthusiasts
half
and
the
their gaming
size,
builds.
so still
PCI 5
128-bit
to at least
bus
one
memory.
of the M.2 slots, as well as the primary graphics slot on many boards, as well as very strong memory overclocking and CPU power
we don't know
deliveries
about
on
the
board.
bifurcation yet.
And finally, our B650 boards
There
offer
will
the
be
perfect
more
balance of
information
price point
about
and
the
capability.
chipset later
These
in the
boards
year.
are
This is
designed
all
for
we're getting
performance
for
users
now.
who want
That's what
all
we
the
were told.
features the AM5 ecosystem
And
has
yeah,
to offer,
prices
but may
on
not demand
motherboards,
all of the
don't
headroom
know.
and overclocking support the X series boards make available. These boards will all feature PCI 5 to an M.2 storage socket so that users can take advantage of the benefits that Gen 5 offers.
Gen 5
Now, in
storage.
2019, AMD was the first
Because
to
people
introduce
want
PCI
14
4 to our
gigabytes a
desktop
second
platform.
storage, right?
And now
'Cause
we're
that
bringing in
helps people.
PCI 5, which doubles the throughput once again, offering a theoretical
Digest.
maximum speed of 32 gigatransfers per second per lane to a range of devices on the motherboard. The first enthusiast-grade PCI 5 devices
The benefit
entering
of
the market
PCI
are
5 will be
NVMe
the
storage
PCI
solutions.
5 by 2
And AMD
drives.
has
They'll be
partnered
lower
with
power.
Phison, as well as storage device manufacturers like Crucial and Micron to bring this incredible performance uplift to the AM5 platform. Now, speaking of performance, as we develop these next-gen storage solutions with our partners, we're seeing an incredible 60% increase in sequential read performance versus PCI Gen 4 drives. When you think about what
on
gamers and
7
enthusiasts
gigabytes
want
per
most,
second.
like faster game loads or recalling large models from
so
storage,
11,
the PCI Gen 5
11.2 gigabytes per
ecosystem
second.
promises to deliver a fantastic experience. We expect to see the first devices from Crucial and Micron available in the consumer market timed with the introduction of the AM5 ecosystem, followed by new devices from other partners like Gigabyte, MSI,
I'm sure they'll send me
Corsair,
one.
and many more shortly thereafter. Our partners will introduce a range of new AM5 platforms covering the features, price
ROG,
points,
Valkyrie,
and capabilities
Aorus,
to address the needs
and
of many
then
different
gaming.
enthusiast desktop customers. Boards from ASRock, ASUS,
The
BioStar,
MSIX. There we go.
Gigabyte, and MSI will feature many of the capabilities that you heard about today. I'm so excited about what we're bringing to market with AM5 and the designs our partners are developing around this next generation solution. I can't wait for you to get your hands on the next era of Ryzen desktop computing.
If you can't wait, then
And
gimme,
with that,
gimme.
I'd like to hand the stage back to Lisa to show off a little bit of what this platform is capable of.
Okay.
Thanks, David, for
Benchmark demo,
highlighting
I
some of the
assume?
big advances AM5
I definitely
will bring
haven't
to
seen
desktop
this.
PCs. Now,
We've
one of
still
my
got
favorite
15
things to
minutes.
do is show off our new tech, so I'm so excited to be able to do that now with Ryzen 7000. Let's start first with gaming. What you're seeing now is gameplay footage of the recently released Ghostwire Tokyo from Tango Gameworks and Bethesda Studios, running on a pre-production version of our 16-core Ryzen 7000 processor.
It's Bethesda, spot the
This
errors.
first-person action-adventure game has rich visuals that help recreate an alternate version of Tokyo. If you look at the current frequency of the CPU reported in the top left corner, you can see that those Zen 4 cores are running around 5.5 gigahertz,
Nice.
with slight variations during gameplay.
Nice.
We designed Zen 4 to run significantly faster than our previous generation.
That's
and
10%
that increase in
performance
frequency
increase.
can translate into a smoother gaming experience.
Assuming that's all core and not
And
single
while
core.
this is just one example, we're really excited for gamers to get their hands on our Ryzen 7000 series. But we know our fans use Ryzen for more than just gaming. From the beginning, Ryzen has set the standard for high-performance content creation, delivering performance that was previously only available in a workstation-class processor. Ryzen 7000 will extend that even further. Now let me show you a Ryzen 7000 processor running the popular Blender 3D modeling software. On the right is the Ryzen 7000 system.
16 cores versus 8.
Both CPUs are 16
8.
cores and rendering a custom image of our next-gen Ryzen desktop CPU, with Blender maxing out the core and thread count of those processors.
You'd rather have
to
16 big cores than 8 plus 8, really.
As you can see, the Ryzen 7000 system completes the process 31% faster, which means creators spend less time waiting and much more time
31% over Odd Lake.
So hopefully you can see why we're so excited about our next generation Ryzen 7000 CPUs and AM5 platforms. You'll hear a lot more over the coming months, and you should expect Ryzen 7000 processors
coming in the fall.
will be available starting this fall.
Or autumn.
It's been fantastic spending some time with everyone today. Let me close with a recap of the news.
Is that it?
New ultra-thin and gaming notebooks powered by Ryzen 6000 series and AMD Advantage with leadership
stick
performance
around
and battery
for the Q&A.
life are available now.
That's the
Mainstream
Q&A with
notebooks
me.
based on AMD Mendocino will be available starting in Q4, and Ryzen 7000 and AM5 are coming this fall. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you in person again soon. Have a great Computex 2022.
Yay, Computex. It begins. Everyone loves Computex. And then we have some of the end notes. Testing. What numbers can we get out of here based on AMD Performance Labs? Uplift claim based on Cinebench. Okay, so Cinebench single thread is 15%. So that's what that is. Let's yeah. So what did everybody think? How was that for everyone? Huh. I thought that was interesting. I tell you what 95% of that I already knew because I'd had the briefing. The thing I didn't know was the frequency. And 5.5 gigahertz, even if that's just single core, that's good, assuming it can go up to that speed very quickly. But I don't know. I still want to know more. I want to know more about the chipset. I want to know more about the cores in the the graphics cores in the I/O die. So let's see. Yeah. So let's talk about the 15% single-threaded increase. If we're going from 5 gigahertz or 50/50, because the Ryzen 9 did tend to go above 5, all the way up to 5.5, that's a 10% frequency uplift. If there's 15% IPC, that means that the cache increase, going from 512K to a meg on the L2, is only worth 5%, and the rest of the core is the same. On top of that, you have 5 nanometer, so let's see where the power lies also with that single core. I think the big thing I'm going to have to get to confirm with AMD, because what they said in the briefing and what they said in the presentation is two different things. The 170 watt number, I heard it was 170 watt package power tracking and not TDP. Now, for those who are asking the difference between TDP and PPT, TDP is the number they put on the box. PPT is what the socket is rated to go to peak. If you've got a motherboard that is built properly, it will go to the package power tracking, and that's what you can adjust in Ryzen Master. If not, then all you'll get is the TDP value. So again, it comes down to how do we define TDP, and I've got an article on Antec that you can go read about that. So yeah, let's see. Okay, so questions. I've seen some people go through. Florian says 170 watt TDP is about 230 watt PPT. I specifically asked AMD, is the 170 watt TDP or PPT? And Robert Halleck said to me, PPT. So let's see if I can confirm that. No USB 4/Thunderbolt. Yes, if you want, if USB 4 or Thunderbolt is to be supported, it requires one of the external Intel controllers. Well, they Titan Ridge. I was about to say Bristol Ridge then, but that's an AMD product. Yeah, so you need an extra controller for Thunderbolt 4. And yes, confirmed DDR5 only. No DDR4 support. No motherboards with DDR4. I didn't ask if there was a DDR4 support in the controller, but I literally asked, is it DDR5 only, not DDR4, and I was told yes. So it's okay. Esposito says, have you heard anything on max core counts? Yeah, 16 cores. There's only space for 2 chiplets on that die. They're both 8 cores. So I'm not expecting anything more than 16 cores for this chip, for Ryzen 7000. That may increase. I'm under the impression that Ryzen 8000 is a new. They're redesigning the architecture from the ground up, so we'll wait for that. Nice Lake says it feels similar to Tiger Lake. Node improvements for higher frequency, larger but slower L2, perhaps to reach those frequencies, hence smaller IPC gains. Yeah, it's kind of along the same lines. And that noise there was one of my notifications. Sorry, I'll turn off my desktop audio. People asking about AVX 512. No mention of AVX 512 here. What we were told is AI instruction support. And when asked, Robert Halleck said these are AI instructions we already know. So it could be AVX 512. It could be AVX VNNI for the Int 8, which Intel announced with Alder Lake. Not sure. The VNNI instructions don't use the 512 units. They can take advantage of the 256 units. So, Chili Dog says, is it 15% over Zen 3D? Yes. Yeah, that's the comparison there. If people want to ask questions at TechTechPotato, just so I can specifically point them out and read them. The box asks, is TRX 40 officially dead? No non-pro CPUs. As far right now, no regular Threadripper. Threadripper Pro only. Whether those AI instructions are AMX instructions, we don't know. There was no mention of Pluton in this CPU, though I expect it probably will have it. And there are no AI engines, we think, in this processor. They haven't mentioned it. There is still a lot more information to come. They haven't mentioned Pluton, they haven't mentioned AI engines from the Xilinx acquisition. I fully expect Pluton to be supported. I don't think AI engines will be in there. So, Space Reptile asks, how long do you think this socket will be supported? AM5. So we did ask, we've asked this from AMD several times, and they say while they can't comment on future support, we should expect to see a similar strategy going forward. So, heck, it may only last 3 or 4 years. Maybe it won't last 5 years. But, yeah. Amir Kaj asks, any news on pricing? Nope. No news on pricing. Alex Usman says, plus 15% single thread versus what? That was against X3D. Equin Starbeat asks, any plans for X3D variants? We did ask AMD this, and they said the stat cache will be a tool used in future, but they wouldn't say on what and in what configurations. So, yeah. Church Seraphim asks, based on nothing but pure speculation at this point, do you think Raptor Lake or Zen 4 will be faster? Productivity, gaming, mixer, either of those. Well, if Zen 4 hits 5.5, I've seen some rumors, people saying Raptor Lake going up to 6. I've got a very low trust in that. if they are going above 5.5, it's quite rare, because I already know the kind of margins Intel is having to do to get 5.5 on the KS, and it's a lot more strict than they have on the K, and as a result they can only supply a limited amount of CPUs into the market every quarter. So if they're going to go above and beyond that, we're going to start talking, auction level CPUs. So Patrick asks, any thoughts on AMD possibly doing a quick sync equivalent now that IGP is standard? That's possible. One of the big criticisms about AMD to date has been encoding support. They NVENC equivalents. We'll see if they put anything above that. AKCSE says, what about the neural engine they mentioned? Honestly, I don't think there's going to be AI engines here. So Victor Reed says, surprised about the integrated GPU. Will desktop chips have 2 SKUs each like Intel has K and KF? That will totally depend on the yield from TSMC of those 6nm chiplets. I mean, that's the main reason why Intel has K and KF, has F and KF, right? It's because sometimes GPU just doesn't work. And I'm willing to believe that AMD's design is more resistant to defects, or actually bins at a relatively good frequency. So I'm not expecting there to be F and KF versions. Kin Galley says, I assume they had to increase the pipeline to reach those clocks. Maybe not. It may be something as simple as the 12nm IO die didn't clock as high, and that was a limiting factor in this. Or increase of the peak power. They now have more power budget to go above and beyond. So yeah, we'll see. Caleb asks, is auction level basically unobtainium for consumers? Yeah, pretty much. If you remember the Intel Core i9 9990XE, the 14 core 5 gigahertz, I've got one over there. That's only because it was a sample from a system integrator. I didn't buy it, but yeah, they were $3,000. Miriaze asking about high-end desktop consumer workstation segment dead. Can we buy new TR Pro parts? Asking Q3. I'm speaking to system integrators who say they have orders in, but they've had orders in for Threadripper 3000 parts that haven't been filled in ages. So let's see about that. It's Ayan says, is 15% enough to catch up with Intel based on your testing? Yeah, I should think so. If not equal, it will be very benchmark dependent because of the caches and all that sort of stuff. So Equin Starby asks, is the frequency shown factory overclocked or supposed to be representative of stock? I'm under the impression it's representative of stock. If that's an overclocked value, AMD is going to be dumped on hard. So Bic asks, your guess on what AMD used all the transistors for? TSMC 5nm is already 15% faster than 7nm, 80% increased transistor density. So some of that will go on cache, and you know about cache scaling, SRAM scaling. And beyond that, what you can use that extra space for is to help increase, you put bigger keep out zones. You basically increase the amount of dark silicon such that you can increase the power and get more frequency out of it. Oh, Teresa's here. Hi Teresa, good morning. What have they said about the industrial users? Lisa mentioned those who have been using workstations. I'm off to Altair tomorrow and interested in HPC cases. Didn't say anything about workstation users aside from that's just a market they're in. We just go back into the argument of the workstation market, Threadripper Pro. If you want one now, go to Lenovo. If you want one later, you have to wait. So Amir Kaj says, do you expect DDR5 price drop by end of the year? So even last year, when I asked when is DDR4 and DDR5 going to be price competitive, and the answer was end of next year. So you're still going to have to wait another 18 months for DDR4 and DDR5 to be compatible. Anak Weibo 4 asks about 3D V cache on these processors. As I said before, AMD have said it's a tool in their toolbox to use in the future, but they're not going to comment on when they're going to use it. So, how does Zen 4 compare to Apple's M1? That's all I can give you on that. Any Space Reptile asks, any idea what the max compute unit cost will be on APUs, and will APUs still have an I/O day? So I asked AMD, will APUs as a product family still exist? Because this is technically an APU. And Robert Halleck said that we should expect AMD to continue with similar product families going forward. So whether that's a monolithic or a multi-die APU in the future, we don't know yet. Though I said earlier that really these multi-die chips, you can't really find them for under $300 unless they're cut down versions. So I still expect APUs to be monolithic, to be honest, because I'm pretty sure AMD could do a good 5nm APU with RDNA 2 or 3 and Zen 4 cores. Avoided Donut asks, how trustworthy is the time-lapse of the Blender render? Well, the Blender render... So AMD in the past has been pretty good with being accurate on their benchmarks, at least on the CPU side, at least in terms of spec. So, give them the benefit of the doubt, I guess. TZCKK says, any chance the Mendocino laptops will have 16GB SKUs? Given their price point, probably not. Probably not. Still no AVX 512, I guess. So AMD said they will have AI accelerator instructions. They didn't say what that was, but they did say they will be similar to what we've already seen in the market. I think this is to do with VNNI for Int 8. If it has AVX 512, great. It may be a case of that it's split between two 256 units. Not sure. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so Fixed Function asks, with one single thread boost states pushing 5.5, how much do you expect that could possibly gain via the chip via X670E versus X670 on the overclocking front? Is this outside the realm of ambient cooling now? I mean, these processors have got to the extreme limits. They're pushing the guardrails just on what comes out of the factory. So on the top end processors, you probably won't get much headroom. These processors might work fine up to 250 watts, and then we can push them for another 200-300 megahertz. But yeah, so Equin Starby asks, any updates on whether fuse locking is being supported on AM5? I know what you're talking about. Patrick Kennedy has a video. Technically, it's been supported since Zen 1, so I have full expectation that it will be supported on Zen 5. Patrick Chia asks, will PCIe 5 for graphics and storage become universal later on for AM5, possibly? To be honest, I don't think so, because AM5 is still a cost adder. It still requires extra investment in the traces and the repeaters on the board, and that really does put it out of the $100 range. You really need to go $150 plus if you want top to bottom PCIe 5, and even then these motherboards are probably going to be 300 plus. So no, I don't. Mr. Vackley asks, is the AMD event done yet? Yep. Just go back, just rewind, and you can watch through it at 2x speed with my commentary, if you like. Ernesto says, AV1 decoding on the integrated graphics, ? I did ask this, and I was told more information to come. Inferno asks, did they say anything about budget APUs, CPUs? No, they didn't say anything about that. WKWRD asks, any news about AM5 creator motherboards with 10 gig Ethernet? All they mentioned about motherboards was that vendors are participating. Because this week is Computex, I expect that some of the vendors will have some of their specifications leak. None of the motherboard vendors have reached out to me to say they've got stuff to say about their motherboards, which is rare. However, I have changed jobs, emails have changed, and I don't really speak to the motherboard vendors as much these days, so don't know. Ulrich Cole asks, any GPU news scheduled? No, there was no GPU news. Space Reptile, any guesses on the low end? Return of the Athlon, insufficient supply? No mention of the low end, no mention about supply. Why does everyone say 15% IPC? Isn't it 15% single threaded versus RX 50 X3D in R23 1T? Yeah, technically, yeah. It's late. I've been awake 25 hours now, so. Hi Gavin, did you stay up? Did you watch? LTT just posted their take on this. Yeah, I need to re-record some of my stuff, I think. I didn't get time to edit my video. That's going to be fun. Yeah. So, any more significant questions? So, some of these that people are asking, I've answered. Or I can't be bothered to answer. Let's put it that way. Equin asks, did they share any reasoning behind the new heat spreader? So, I actually say this in my video, but so the heat spreader has got like the arm thing. I'm calling it the octopus because there's 8 arms. You know, 4 in the corners, 4 in the middle, 8 arms, octopus. On the bottom of the processor, it's all pins. If you look at a modern processor, this is my AM4 drawer. So this is the 5700X. So this is a bad example, but modern processor is meant to have both pins or pads and capacitors on it. Let me get a okay, so here we go. This is a Haswell E, because you know I just have these processors on hand. So this is a Haswell E. So you have pads and you have capacitors to help with the power management and the clocking. With AMD, with the new processors, the backside is all pads. It's all pads. So in order to get the capacitors on there, they've had to put the capacitors on the top, and you'll see arrays of capacitors on the top, and then you have this octopus heat spreader. So that's why it's like that. So I hope that answers your question. Anna says, are you doing any more of these today, or are you sleeping next? I'll see if I can finish my video before I get tired. I've actually got a meeting in a few hours, so in 3 hours, so I'll see. Leo says, will this stream go up on YouTube as a video? It's already up on YouTube as a video. I might just cut out the stream and just post the stream. I don't know. I did mention several times I'll do a Q&A. So let's see. Do you think they decoupled L3 from core clock domain, or can they hit 5.5 on that big cache block? I don't know. There's obviously 5 nanometer brings some extra stuff into it, so Space Reptile, besides the socket, do you think the chipsets will get similarly long support as the AM4 ones? I've got a feeling that AMD is now in a position where they can think about long-term chipset support, and ask how big those BIOS chips are. Yeah, so Teresa asks, which other Computex sessions do you recommend watching? NVIDIA Keynote, just because they might say something Lovelace, and I haven't actually got any other sessions on my list. I've just got meetings, so yeah. I don't know who else is doing a presentation, to be honest. Will current DDR5 memory work with the new AM5? Yeah. Yeah, it will do. AM5 is laid out like socket FC32. Yes. Yeah. The instant I thought it's socket F, but just more pins. So, Patrick asks, so you're saying we'll probably see a major big dot little-ish change to the architecture coming in Ryzen 8000? I'm not sure. I'm of the opinion that you should keep all the cores big. It really depends on how AMD plays the Zen 4, Zen 4C on the enterprise side, and how different those cores are. We'll find out more, Q4, Q1 when Genoa and Bergamo are launched. So, Neganed asks, could you expand on the chipset differences will enable compared to AM4, other than what they talk about? We don't know. They didn't give us any more information than what they talked about. So, yeah. It's Nanda Gopal, thank you for the 400 rupees, much appreciated. David Gunter says delidding sounds like a very bad idea with the caps on top. I assume I think that the caps are around 3 sections, and one of the sides doesn't have any, so you can delid from that, or at least you can get leverage from that. So, no doubt Roman Hartung, DeBauer. I've got an interview with him on the channel. If you haven't seen it, do go watch. I expect he'll have a tool to do it. So, those capacitors sticking out to the heat spreader won't be vulnerable to, say, conductive thermal paste, right? That is a good question. That is the correct question. Do you think it'll be hard to validate for Wi-Fi 7? No, because you just add it as a PCIe device and it'll be fine. As always. I checked the database and we have 116 SKUs for AM4, so I'm interested in seeing a list. We must be missing some on TPU. Yeah, fixed function. Message me through the About page on YouTube. I definitely have a good list. Amir Kaj asks, do you think 16 cores is good enough against Intel's 13th gen? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Stefan asks, have you seen the leaked PCB blueprint? No, I'm not a fan of leaks because you never know if they're real. Good night from the USA. Yes, everybody on the East Coast, thank you for staying up. I know it's almost 3 o'clock your time, 3 a.m. Go get some sleep. I'll be joining you soon. Joto asks, do you have any insights why x64 CPUs tend not to have onboard radios or MEMS? So most radio technology is built on older generations. So MediaTek just announced Wi-Fi 7 chips on 6 nanometer, and anything below that is based on older technologies because it's easier to do RF in larger technologies just because of where the focus is going with the research. So a lot of 14, 17, 22, 32, 45, 60, 90 nanometer stuff, that's great for RF. Leading edge logic, not so much. So, yeah. Will 5 or 10 gigabit Ethernet become standard now on these boards? Probably not standard, but we will likely see vendors use it as an add-on, as one of the added benefits. So, yeah. What's the average lead time from AMD releasing a mobile APU and it being available in laptops you can buy? So usually they announce the laptop APU 3 to 6 months after the desktop, and then it's a 3 to 6 month wait until it's roughly available. RF could have been put in the IO die, Caleb, but AMD doesn't have any RF IP. Everything they use is co-designed with MediaTek or Qualcomm, and that's a chip that's been rebadged, that's not an IP license that they've taken. No doubt, because it would cost too much. And you also have to have the pinouts for the RF, and then you still have to have the RF front end, which is a separate module you still have to buy. This is why... So if you look at Intel's chipsets, they contain the onboard MAC for Wi-Fi, but you still need to have the physical layer and the RF front end on board to support it. So RJ Esposito says Asus announces 670 Mobo slate. Gavin, if you're still here, go have a look at that. You'll like it. There will be more Ryzen 6000 laptops in coming months, Shiv. Certainly. Mark, 3186 is new IO die 7nm. No, it's 6nm, which is basically 7nm with improvements. They might have called it 7 Plus in an earlier life. And Ori Chikaku says, will we see risk in consumer prosumer hardware in, let's say, the next decade? You may already have it in your processors. So, and I am running out of my ability to talk because I've been talking for a lot. If you're still around, congratulations. This is where I say don't forget to like and subscribe and that whole influencer bollocks. Leo is asking a stream with Wendell for any of the incoming launches this year. Given that both companies are meant to launch enterprise processors this year, I fully expect I'll be doing another stream with Wendell. I need to see at some point when I can fly around the US to get to where he lives. I think I need to fly from Charlotte to somewhere in Kentucky. All I know it's an added flight. So yeah, I think that's a good point to stop actually. So I'm gonna record and try and edit my video and get it out at a reasonable time. Everybody who's gone to bed, you'll see it in the morning, though you probably won't learn anything new because we've already gone through it all. But if you see it, still, if you can, give it a thumbs up, would be much appreciated. Leave a comment, and gotta love that YouTube engagement. It's yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of this year. The first half of the year has been okay. Second half of the year is going to be more exciting, especially when we get the new CPUs, new graphics, if we get RDNA 3 and Lovelace coming out. Yeah. And yes, Charlotte is a decent airport to fly into. I quite like Charlotte. Charlotte, Philadelphia. Yeah. Charlotte, Philadelphia, JFK. There's usually the ones that I stop off on the East Coast. So, yeah. Thank you for you all. And if I did just enable super thanks because that's a thing now apparently, and YouTube is trying to be more like Twitch, and I never really understood Twitch. So, to Alex, no, I'm in the UK right now. So, but you know, doing more trips to the US. I was in the US last week. So, yeah, I think that's it. So, good night, everyone. Or good day, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, whatever they say in the Truman Show. So, yeah, if you got any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll get to them later. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.